This video is on how to hollow out the back of your tile, or your relief sculpture in this case, for our survey class. The rule of thumb is in two directions, your clay should not be thicker than your thumb. If your clay is thicker than your thumb, it'll take a long time to dry. The other thing that'll happen is moisture, if it's trapped, we don't always know that it's there, or air could be trapped, we don't always know that it's there. Moisture turns to steam, and your tile or your relief sculpture will explode like a bomb. If there's air encapsulated inside your clay, air expands when it's heated, and your relief sculpture will explode like a bomb. We don't want that to happen. So what you want to do is flip your sculpture upside down. There might be some newspaper or, paper from your sheetrock stuck to it. If there's any remaining stuff like that on there, it's okay. It'll just peel off. You want to check your edge and see. I just took this off the board. Look how sloppy it looks. It looks horrible. Also, this will crack and cause problems on here. So what I'm going to do is carve it off and neaten it up, that edge, with my fettling knife. And of course, this is my demo sculpture, so the sculpture itself isn't complete. So we're just going to pretend like this is a fully complete sculpture of a fish. It's obviously half done. I got to keep in mind that I hollowed out the mouth, so the whole mouth is already thinner than my thumb. Using your thumb as a tool for measurement is real easy because you never lose it. At least we hope. Okay, flip it upside down, and then you are going to create an outline that represents the area that you're going to hollow out. The area where the clay is thicker than your thumb. So, here we go. I'm just measuring with my fingers and my thumb, and this is a little too thick, so I'm just going to create a circle here. That's all I need to hollow out here, because I want to leave an outside edge around my fish, because these are going to hang on the wall. So you want to have it be, have an area touch the wall. You want it to be stable on the wall. And I'm just going to dig with a loop tool. You want to use an appropriate size loop tool for the size of your sculpture. Obviously, I'm not going to use a really huge loop tool for this little tiny area. Then I'm going to measure. I'm feeling it. You're going to spend a lot of time just feeling the thickness of your sculpture. Perfect. The fin is done. Now for the body. Now my mouth goes to here. I'm measuring with my fingers how deep that is. See? I've got a finger on the inside, finger on the outside. Right here is the area that needs to be measured out. Hollowed out. So I'm going to draw an outline where I need to hollow. That makes hollowing out easy because it provides a guide for scraping the extra clay out. How do I know when to stop scraping? How do I know that I'm not going to go through my sculpture? I'm going to test it with my fingers, like this. That feels pretty thick. It's a little thicker than my thumb, so I'm going to keep digging. Now, Monday and Tuesday, when you're in class and you think you've hollowed out your sculpture enough, so it's the thickness of your thumb or thinner, It's not, you know, it doesn't have to be exactly the thickness of your thumb. It can be thinner. Call me over and I'll check it for you. Okay? Unfortunately, because of time, we're not able to let these dry out over the weekend. So they need to be done on Tuesday. I can feel this is really, really thick here, so I really need to dig deep. Yep. That's right, I forgot about that. You can even use, like, your fettling knife. Just try not to carve through the mouth, if you have a mouth, or, like, any area like that you're going to want to glaze. Okay. Once you're all hollowed out to the thickness of your thumb, or thinner, you want to think about how you want this to look on the wall. I want my fish to hang, I think, like this, because I'd like to put a hook in the mouth. So I'm going to put a hang hole in the back. We're all going to put a hanging hole in the back of our relief sculpture. How do you do that? So everyone check out the screen. I'm really compressing the clay in the area where I am going to put a hole for this to hang on a nail. What you're going to do is, when you go home with your fired glazed tiles, you're going to put a nail in an upward angle in the wall and then hang this on it. So what you're going to want to do is carve a hole in the back of your relief sculpture that's at an upward angle, so it will rest right down on there. Why don't you put a hole directly straight, parallel with the floor, directly straight into your sculpture? Absolutely. We get a little tremble, your sculpture has fallen onto the floor, broken into a million pieces. So anything happens, you know, it can fall right off. So that's why this needs to be at an angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm cutting a hole at an upward angle with my fettling knife. You can just use a pin nail to hang this at home. And then always compress your clay, no crumbling. Just like that. I have a nice hole for my sculpture to hang when it's all done. The absolute last step for this project is going to be craftsmanship. You've handled your sculpture upside down. Flip it over, see if there's any problems with texture. Did you mush the texture with your fingers? Did you create any cracking? Craftsmanship, the quality of the relief and how you carve the planes, how you hollowed out, and effort are all on the rubric. So you just want to really make sure as a last step that your sculpture is really, really neat. And I call that the last step, but truly the last step is writing your name on the back. So how do you do that? Once you clean up all the craftsmanship, make sure your edges are nice and neat, Make sure there's no crumbles of clay. For some of you that have fine texture, you might have crumbles of clay. When this is dry, just wipe it off with a damp paper towel. That'll get rid of all of that. Flip it over, and with a needle tool, you're just going to write your name. Write your name anywhere on the bottom. Not your initials, please. Your whole name. Some people even like to give this as a gift and they write like a little message on there. Some people like to write the date. All that's up to you. Please put your whole name, then it won't get lost. Worst scenario, with the tight schedule here, you might have to come back during finals to pick up your tile. I'm hoping that that's not the case, but I will not rush these and fire them before they're dry because they'll explode like bombs. That would be very, very sad. So I'd rather be even glazing up to Monday, the last day of classes, and then have you pick them up during finals. Hopefully that's not the case, but if they're not dry, considering we're finishing these on Tuesday, if they're not dry, we might have to do that. Looks more and more like we're going to have to do that. And then you're done. Once you're done hollowing out and your craftsmanship is complete and your name's on it, we are no longer going to put any plastic on these. No more plastic. Take it off your board, wipe off your board with a sponge, and put it back on your shelf. Seeing your tile outside of the bag with no damp paper towels tells me that it's ready to be graded. I'm going to grade these in wet form, or I should say unfired form, just like they are. There's nothing about glaze on the rubric. Okay? That's it. Thanks for being such a good audience.